So I just wanted to maybe give another small introduction. I feel like it's always introductions, but it's important before we continue. That what exactly is what's this strength of these nekudot tovot, these little points of judging a person favorably, judging yourself, others. Like what's it all about? These little nekudot. Okay, it's little bits of Torah, like little mitzvahs that we do, good deeds, right? Like Chazal say, we're filled with mitzvahs like a pomegranate. So we all have these tiny little ones, but they're pomegranate seeds are really small. So why are they so strong? What's the source, of where we get, where we use this strength? I'm thinking maybe we should change it from, little candles, those little mitzvahs. We should change it to like little swords, and I'll explain why a little bit further. So first of all, just understand the difference between, the two names, which we say like, Bayom Hahu Hashem Echad U'Shmo Echad, that in the day to come, after we finish, the end of prayer, we say Aleinu Shabech. We say in the day to come, Hashem will be one, His name will be one. Rabbi Nachman says, I think in the fourth lesson, he says that Shem Hashem and Shem Elokim will be one, which means that's the unification between Kudsha Brichu and Shchinte, the two names of Hashem, which basically the name Yud Kei Vav Kei corresponds to like the Shefa, all the Shefa that's coming down into the world from the Or Ein Sof, coming down through all of the worlds, all the way down to our world over here. And the Shem Elokim corresponds to the basically all of Hashem's light that's beaming down and in physical garments, like the Or Ein Sof. When Hashem created the world, so He created the void, and then through that He draw down. He draw down basically godliness, that light of Or Ein Sof, but it only came down in like a line of a straight line through all the olamot, and then in each olam it goes around, and inside there's whatever. I don't know Kabbalah, but that light's called Elokim, and because as it comes down and lower and lower and lower, each time it comes lower, it goes into more and further garments, until it comes down to our world where the garments actually turn into physical garments. And the godliness is from within inside every single one of those things that we see in front of our eyes and everywhere. But that's called Elokim, right? So the unification between those two is basically the exile, the redemption, sorry, not the exile, the redemption, of the world, and the redemption of every person on a personal level. So because it has those physical garments, that's why the evil force, that's where he gets his grasp. The whole grasp, and again, it's all because the world is running on a system called freedom of choice. So the grasp of the other side of that Esav, of that evil force from within me, from within the world, from within, Gashmius, physicality, it has a combination of these two forces, which is good and bad. You can take a physical object and do something good with it and turn it into, a chariot for the holiness. Or Chas v'Shalom, a person could take a physical object, like and do something bad with it. Like a person could buy a car, and it could be the biggest mitzvah in the world, because his whole intention is that he can take his family from place to place, and he can go on trips, and he can do chesed with it, and so on. And he can buy a car just because he wants to hang his hand out of the window and let everybody see what a nice car he has, and it just fills him up with more and more pride and ruins his characteristics. So it all depends on what you do with the physical thing. But that's all about the elevating it. So everybody wants to know, how do I elevate, my being, right? I have Gashmius from within me. I have Taivas, I have a Yetzer Hara, I have all that, and I want to know how I'm supposed to elevate that and turn that physical body into like basically a chariot of kedusha, so I could serve Hashem, not just with my mind by studying or whatever, but actually serve Hashem with my heart as well. And which is the place of the taivas, and that's where, that's the thing holding me back, that separation between the heart and the mind that we expanded on in the long class I gave, the hour and 10 minutes. So the other thing, it says in the tablets, in the Torah we got from Mount Sinai, it says, Anochi Hashem Elokecha, I am Hashem Elokecha, and it brings there both the names, Yud Kei Vav Kei and Elokecha, right? Anochi Hashem Elokecha, and then it says, Lo yeh lecha Elokim achirim al panai, right? That you should not have another God al panai, on my face. So what does that mean? That means if I have, if let's say if I look at a physical object, if I look at the Yetzer Hara as something with, it's a reality from within itself, So basically, what I'm doing is I'm separating it. I'm making that separation between the heart and the mind, between the physical object, the godliness from within it, and Hashem, right? So when I look at the object and I realize there's godliness from within it, within everything, there's Hashem from within it, that's when I basically subdue it. I turn it into a chariot for holiness. So So basically, where they get their strength from, the klipot, the other side, it gets its strength from that separation. So that's why when Hashem gave us the Torah Mount Sinai, right? He said, "Anochi Hashem Elokecha, asher hotzaticha me'eretz Mitzrayim beit avadim." I'm Hashem, your God, right? Remember, I'm that one that's from within the physical garments. I'm the one who took you out of Egypt. You know, the place of slavery. All that slavery that every person is stuck in. Hashem tells us right at the beginning, I'm the one who took you out. Hashem Elokim. Just make sure you keep that connection between the two, and I will take you out. And what does that mean? Don't have a God, right? Lo yelech Elokim achrim al panai. Don't cover up my face. Right? Al panai means on top of my face. So I'm in every single thing in the physical world. I'm everywhere. Right? The physical garments are just there so that you have a test, that's why you got a soul and a body, so you have the two, right? But don't cover it up and look at it as just a physical object from within itself and disconnect me from it, I'm in there, I'm just hiding, right? My face is hiding. Don't cover up my face. So, and we say also in Shema, right? So this obviously is the whole connection. I'll explain why those candles are turning into swords, and why we could use those things, how we use those things. It's actually the Torah says it, we'll read it from the Parsha, but how we use those things to subdue the evil force, the Esav from within us, and start really getting that light, of the mind, start bringing it down into the heart. It's cute and sweet to talk about the connection between the heart and the mind, and it's so important to do Itbodedut and all these things that we know. We should be studying Torah, we should be doing Itbodedut, we should fix all of our characteristics. That's what everybody's talking about. But how do we actually do it? Like, where's the secret in the Torah that's teaching us how do we do this? Hashem obviously gave us the tools, right? Chazal, it's full in the Gemara, everywhere they talk about, I created Yetzer Hara and I created a Torah, is a remedy. There's so many places that talk about it. In Pagam Echad Nuvalza, if the Yetzer Hara jumped on you, then drag him to the base midrash. Okay, go learn the page of Gemara. Mazel tov. Now I don't feel like going and having a huge hamburger, or whatever, right? It doesn't work. So where are the actual eitzahs that can give me the strength and the eitzah of how to subdue the Yetzer Hara, how to turn it into a chariot of kedusha be'emet, so I can start working on this shita, and it'll really work. So I think it's a deep secret. Reb Nachman revealed lots of secrets. They say the Kutei Moharan's full of secrets, and we'll see it inside the parsha. Just reading it a little bit different, understanding, the whole story with Esav and Yaakov. The other thing is that we say "V'hayu advarim ha'ela asher anochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha." We say in Shema, and Hashem told us to put these things, to teach our children, and to put it on our house, on the entrance to the house, the mezuzah. Put these words. What that? "V'hayu advarim ha'ela asher anochi mitzavcha hayom." These things that I am commanding you today, make sure to put them on your heart. Al levavecha. So the things I'm commanding you, that's the Torah, right? Al levavecha, on the heart, that's the tefillah. So make sure to take all of these words that you're learning today, everyone, you and me, and turn them into tefillah, which means you turn every single thing that you start working on, you just turn it into a prayer. So you have a certain mitzvah that's hard for you, and you're supposed to do it X amount of times throughout a day or throughout the year, whatever. This is how much times, the Torah requires to do it, and you can only do it a tiny little bit. You daven to Hashem. You take that mitzvah, al levavecha, you bring it onto your heart, and you just talk to Hashem. You say, tell Hashem, listen, I'm trying to do this thing, and I know I need to do it, a lot, right? But I can only do a tiny little bit, and I want to do more because I know the Torah is amazing and it brings this great light, but this is the situation right now. Maybe if every time I did the mitzvah, I would feel this huge light beaming down onto me, I would have the strength and motivation and want to do it more, but I don't. So I'm doing it in the darkness. So doing it in the darkness, when the heart and mind are completely separated, and the Asa, the heart, the Asa from within my heart is basically king. He's in control, right? The body, the taiva, is how I feel physically. That's what's in control of the mind, of the light of the neshama. So it's very hard for me. And just like that, just talk to Hashem. Just tell him what you're going through, and just turn the Torah into tefillah. That's like one of the biggest secrets. It's the biggest secrets, because it's mamish. It's like everything is turning the Torah into tefillah. Just talking to Hashem. You don't have to sit and do a whole thing or say it. Or Nachman said, you talk to Hashem, you talk like he's your best friend. You talk to him like he's your father. Just like a friend, same way you'd be on the phone talking to someone. You talk to him like that about whatever it is that you're doing, or even things that you don't do that you should be doing. Just talk to him about it. Whenever you remember, if you could do a set time a day to do it, 10 times better. And but that's the first parsha of Shema. The second parsha, it says, La'avat Hashem Elokechem, to love Hashem Elokechem, which means not just Hashem, the Yud Kei Vav Kei, but also Elokechem. You have to make sure that you love both of them. And the love comes from the heart, right? And serve God with your full heart, right? Which means, again, it's the ovda b'chol levavchem, that the work needs to be, the Torah needs to be in the work of the heart. Because the only, I know and I believe 100% that Elokechem, that second name of yours, that godliness of yours, Hashem, that's hiding from within the garments, I know it's you, Hashem. I know it's Yud Kei Vav Kei. But I'm stuck in this body. I'm stuck in this exile for so long. I can't anymore. Enough. And then there's all the blessings. People think like the blessings. Hashem promises us. We keep the Torah. We put mezuzahs. We put on tefillin or whatever. And then Hashem's going to give us rain, and the land will give its all the fruit. And if you don't, Hashem bachem v'atzaret hashamayim v'lo yeh matar, right? All these curses that are going to come, right? If we don't keep the Torah. That's how people look at it. Shem Yerachem, right? Oy, Gewalt. It's cruelty. So cruel to look at it like that. And what it really means is that, like we said, I am the Torah. I'm the Torah. I'm every single word of the Torah. The Torah and me are not a separate thing. Hashem gave me at Mount Sinai. He didn't give me a book with a bunch of rules. He gave me myself. He gave me my soul. He teaches me how to find myself and discover who I really am and my inner, who's the king? Am I the king or is he the king, right? Who's king here? So the whole thing is that if you guys do this and you connect your heart and your mind, meaning when you have a mitzvah or something that's hard for you, you dive into Hashem about it, you talk to him. What you're doing is you're taking Torah that I gave you at Mount Sinai and you're drawing it down to your heart, right? The heart, in the bigger scale, worldly, Chazal say in the Midrash, Adamu olam katan, a man is a small world, right? So, looking at that as a human, right, my head, where my soul is, chelek elok amimal, a part of Hashem, that's the aspect of Yud Kei Vav Kei. That's the godliness. That's Hashem up there sending down all the shefa down into the world. What's the world on the manly scale? It's my heart. The heart that pumps the blood and keeps your body, if it stops 1 second, done. So Hashem says, if you guys keep that connection strong, which means everything you learn, everything that's hard for you, just daven. Keep drawing it down into your heart. Bring it down into your heart. And make sure my Torah is always being drawn down into the heart. And then I will draw my light into the world as well. Because they're both one. And as soon as you guys stop, if you don't keep drawing and doing that, what's going to happen is I'm going to have to stop it as well, right? And not that I want to. You guys stopped it, so it stops automatically. That's how I created the world. You guys have a part of me inside of you. So if you guys make the disconnection, then it's going to disconnect. Sorry, I'm just a little... have a drink. Anyhow, so that's what what Reish Bebet is all about, the Nekudot Tovot, those little Nekudot, Reb Nachman here is teaching in the second part. I can't read the whole thing, so I have to go into the kids. We did the first part yesterday. It obviously wasn't so, emotional. I'm just feeling a little bit emotional today, which is very rare. He's basically saying that in the second part over here, that a person then, at the beginning he said that a person needs to find the goodness from within every other person and look at that little bit of godliness from within them, because that's what matters. That's who they are. That's their essence. All the rest isn't worth nothing. It's not. It has no. It's just there for the test. If you fail the test and you fell in something, the test is over. It's done. Now just make sure to do tshuva and move forward. It's done. There's nothing to krechts about or think about or get into. It's over. So when you see someone that's doing tons of bad stuff, as soon as he finishes doing the bad thing that he did, it's gone. It disappeared. So there's only good to look at, right? Just look at his good. And then Reb Nachman says about yourself as well. When you judge yourself favorably, you're always looking at the good things from within yourself, and just finding those little swords, or changed it from candles to swords, right? Just finding those little swords. What happens is you're not giving it any strength. You're not giving the other side, the Yetzer Hara, who's in your heart. Where does the Yetzer Hara get his koyach from? The other side only gets its strength from the mitzvahs. When a Jew does a mitzvah or does an avera, that's where his koyach is. That's why Rav Nachman says in the first lesson that the Yetzer Hara is mitlabesh in mitzvahs. He comes in garments like he's a good angel. What do you mean he's mitlabesh in mitzvahs? He's in the mitzvahs. Right? That's why there's 365 mitzvahs of don't do certain things. What does that mean? That means if I chas v'shalom do that thing, go over it, what happens? I'm gonna the klipa jumps onto me because it has from within it kedusha, but that kedusha, that holiness, that, let's say, that pig or that animal or thing that's not kosher or the thing that's usher has from within it, it's very, very, very high kedusha that we can't get, we can't tap into now. We can't elevate that kedusha. If we had the strength, we would be able to. On the mitzvah aseh, right, then we have the koach. On the 248, right, we have the koach to elevate the sparks of holiness, the godliness from within it. Because that's what it's all about. That Elokim, that godliness, the light of Hashem that is hiding inside there and giving the thing life, right, is basically the reason why I do the mitzvahs, and that is to get light from that to my neshama and give myself that chiyut, that life. Whether it's eating something or whatever the mitzvahs are that we're doing, each mitzvah is a different kind of light because you tap in and your neshama connects to that godliness from within that mitzvah. But things that are usher I don't have the ability. I just don't have the strength to, right? So who's in there? The klipa is ne'echaz. If a person, God forbid, goes over one of those things, what happens? He basically is giving strength and yanika and koach to the other side. To Esav gets stronger, right? So Rav Nachman says, he teaches that the looking at the nekudot tovot, this whole idea of these nekudot tovot, how do we not give him the strength, right? We're human, right? Hashem hu yadai tzleinu. He knows we're going to fall 1,000 times. He created us, he knew we were going to fall, right? It's not about the falling or not falling. That's an obvious we're going to fall. The question is, how do I continue the way I am in life, continue my life the way I am, and slowly, step at a time climb, but stop giving him that strength, stop giving him the yanika, the sucking that he's getting from the things that I know I'm doing wrong, right? When I go over things and I do things that I know I shouldn't be doing, right? So how do I stop giving him strength from those mitzvahs I'm going over? Because as soon as a yid goes over something, straight away he gets the strength. He's allowed to take it. That's his, that's how he lives. That's his strength. That's his existence in the world. So we need to slowly start cutting away that strength. So the Torah basically teaches it to us with the whole story with Yaakov and Esav, where the taking of the brachas, that's what it's coming to teach us. Where, Yaakov's coming to take the brachas, right? And he puts on these garments. His Ima Rivka, right, says, come and put on the garments of your brother. And quickly you have to get the brachas out of him, and she puts on, his hairy arms or whatever, and chilkat savarav on his neck, and he comes before his father to get the bracha, right? And he comes before his Abba, and his Abba says, who are you? Is that Esav? It sounds like Yaakov. Is that Esav? He says, yeah, I'm your first son, Esav. I'm the first son, Esav. And then he says, come, let me feel you. He feels him. And he says, "Yadayim de kol kol Yaakov, yadayim de Esav." It sounds like it sounds over here like Yaakov, but the hands are Esav. V'lo ikiro, and he didn't recognize him. Ki hayu yadav ki de Esav achiv seirot vayivacheu, because his hands were like the hands of Esav; they were hairy, and he blessed him. So he took the bracha. He got the bracha from his Abba. Vayomer ata ze bni Esav, vayomer ani. Are you my son Esav? He says yes. ויאמר הגישה לי ואוכלה מצד בני למען תברכך נפשי ויגש לו ויאכל ויבא לו יין וישת. So let me eat, bring me food, and so that I can bless you. So he brings him the food, and he eats, and brings him wine, and he drinks. ויאמר אליו יצחק אביו גשנה ושקע לבני, come and give me a kiss, my son. ויגש וישק לו וירח את ריח בגדיו ויברכהו ויאמר ראה ריח בני כריח שדה אשר ברכו אדוני. So basically, he gives him the blessing. He gets all of the blessings of the Gan V'Tirosh. That again, all these are the spiritual blessings, right? Of spirituality, physicality also, but spirituality. That's what we're looking at right now. And then it says that, right? He gives him the whole bracha, and then he goes right. And it says as soon as he went out, as soon as he left, Esav comes in. Esav comes in. And says, okay, I brought you the food that I went and hunted. Come give me a blessing. She says, what do you mean? V'amar lo Yitzchak aviv, mi ata? Who are you? V'amar ani bincha bechorcha Esav. I'm your bechor. I'm firstborn, right? And he says, v'yechad Yitzchak charada gdola. He got very scared. Who was the one who came and ate, and I gave him all the blessings? And when Esav heard this, it says, Vayitzak tzaka gdola umara me'od. Right? He freaked out, screamed really, really loud, and said, please, Father, bless me as well. Your brother came and cheated, and he took your blessing. So Esav says, is this why he was called Yaakov? Right? He ripped me off twice. He cheated me twice. He says, so he came and he took my Bechorah, my firstborn, so I'm not the king anymore, I'm not the firstborn, and he took all my blessings. And then he asked his father, you don't have another blessing for me? So Yitzchak says, I made him basically the head, and I gave all of his brothers should be slaves to him, and Dagan v'Tirosh, I gave him, the wheat, and I gave him the wine, and what am I supposed to do with you? Esav said, please, give me something, Barcheni gam ani avi. And he started crying. And then Vayan Yitzchak aviv, Vayomer elav hine mishmanei haaretz yemeshavecha. He gives him basically all the little leftovers. Rashi says, what shmanei haaretz is just like Italia shel Yavan. He gives him some of the klipas, right? He doesn't get any of he gets the tal, the dew, but it's all basically the little leftovers, like the mayim achronim for the Yetzer Hara. So basically what's going on over here is when I go into that restaurant, when I go into that place that I know I shouldn't be going into, right? When I'm doing something that I shouldn't be doing, so how do I give the other side the strength? By basically giving in and not doing anything, saying, listen, I'm already off, right? I already don't do things the way I should be doing. So I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna lie to anyone and be like a cheater and act like, I could do certain mitzvahs, or, I can't play games over here. I gotta be truthful with myself. So if I'm holding on a certain level, in a low level, then I have to be truthful with myself and not do anything. But the problem is, if a person never did any mitzvahs, it would be one thing. The problem is, a yid, every time he does something good, even if he just, says hello and makes somebody happy by that, it's considered a mitzvah. Anything that has, Rav Nachman says, a ratzon of Hashem from within it is considered a branch of one of the 613. So what happens to that kedusha, that mitzvah, that Torah, the holiness that's from within it? It goes and gives strength to that Esav, to the Yetzer Hara from within him. Okay, so how do I now stab the Yetzer Hara? How do I get rid of the Yetzer Hara? How do I weaken him? Rav Nachman says, very, very simple. That's the Eitzah in this Reish Pei Bet. It's so simple. All you need to do is not to look at it at all. Judge yourself favorably. Find a zchut, find a reason why you're not being close to Hashem. The reason why I'm doing these things is because of X, Y, and Z, right? And when a person starts judging himself favorably, he starts judging himself bekav zchut and giving importance to those little nekudot, because we all have tons of the little things that we do. And what happens is we judge ourselves favorably, and then we say, all those things that I do wrong, that's not who I am, right? That's not me. Me is those little candles, those little swords. That's who I am. That's my essence. All those things are good. They're all called tov, tov. That's why Rabbeinu over here says over 50 times he says tov, tov, tov. When he's talking about the good dots that we do, he called them good, good, good. How many times he repeats here good? Why? Because the good is the Torah. The good is the holiness, the godliness from Hashem. And everybody has tons and tons of those little nekudot tovot, those little good deeds, good mitzvahs that he does throughout his life, throughout his day, year, right? Everyone, we're full. So we need to now take all those nekudot that we do, and we need to now start bringing them to the side of Kedusha and let them start subduing the Yetzer Hara in our heart and beaming and giving strength to feel the connection between the Kudsha Brichu and Shechinta, to start feeling godliness from within me, from within my being and my mind. And this is stabbing all of those worries and those anxieties and all these problems that people have, is all because they don't have a remedy, something to subdue and to weaken that Yetzer Hara from within their heart. And when there's a Yetzer Hara strong and there's a complete separation between the head and the mind, that's when all the problems start in the head and all the problems start in the body. And all right, that's v'charav Hashem b'chem, and Hashem says the list of all the things, that the land won't get water and there'll be famine or whatever. That's what that means in a human scale, right? Hashem's talking about in the godly scale. In a human scale, that's what it means. So Reb Nachman's giving over here an unbelievable weapon, and I would call it even a medication of how to start weakening the Yetzer Hara. So the Eitzah is basically that from now, what I'm doing every day, I'm continuing my life. I don't even need to take one step forward. If I could take a step forward, learn a little bit, daven a little bit, do itbodedut like we said at the beginning, that's amazing. But if I can't, I'm still holding where I am. I want to continue the way I am. So I need to now open up my eyes and notice, okay, when am I doing a mitzvah? Okay, I'm doing a mitzvah. This thing is considered, according to the Torah, this is considered something good, right? I'm doing something good. This is who I am. This thing, this nekudat tova, that is my essence. All of that I do behind everybody's back, behind Hashem's back, when nobody's looking, what I do, that's not who I am. That's him. That's not me. That's Esav. That's the other side. That's not the essence of a Jew, of your neshama, right? We're the nekudat tovot. Like, we need to get this in our head, and once we get it in our head, we're going to start, what happens, this is Yaakov coming. He comes in the garments of Esav. Why? Because he has the garments of Esav. Right? If you see him on the street, he looks like somebody that the Yetzer Hara is completely in control of him. So he has the garments of Esav. But he comes and he says, no, I'm coming to get the brachas. Come and bless me. He feeds his father. His father says, are you sure? Is it you? He's not sure. He's confused, right? So Yitzchak, by the way, corresponds to the Elokim, right? Yud Kei Vav Kei Elokim. So that's Yitzchak. And Yitzchak is Gvurot Kedoshot, right? He corresponds to the Elokim. And we know Yaakov, Esav obviously is the Yetzer Hara. Yaakov has two names, right? This is just like a side note. He has Yisrael and Yaakov. So Yisrael is because Yaakov went through this whole process and subdued the Yetzer Hara and got all the blessings, all the shefa out of Esav, and then Esav comes and says to his father, give me a bracha, like something. He's like, I can't, it's gone. He came b'mirma, your brother came, he cheated here. He came without me even realizing, and he stole the brachas. So there's no more shefa. Meaning he took all of the shefa from those little mitzvahs. What was keeping Esav alive? All the shefa that he's getting, the sparks of holiness he's getting from those little mitzvahs that we do, because they don't have it. The other side in our heart, the Yetzer Hara has no koach in the world besides the koach from mitzvahs, from kedusha. He doesn't get any koach from anywhere else. The klipa is always yonik from the kedusha. He takes from the kedusha. So Esav now is coming to get the little bit that he thought he had, and he suddenly doesn't have it. Why? Because when I came and I did all those tiny little mitzvahs, those little things that I did, I looked at them in a way of like, no, that's not who I am. That's not who I am. That's not who I am. I am the little nekudat tova. I'm not that person who does all those bad things. That's not me. That's my Yetzer Hara that overcame me. That's not who I am. In my essence, that's not who I am. Right? to uproot. We're not the son, the son of the servant maid. We're the son of the king. Yeah, the son of the servant maid went up, and he's sitting on the throne, and he's king, and everybody, and we're thrown out into exile. But no, we need to remember we're the son of the king, and the son of the king means that those nikudot tovot, right? All the things that have good from within in them, is all Torah. Tov li Torat picha me'al pezah v'chesed, right? Hashem is just good. Tov Hashem lakol v'achamav kol ma'asav. There's so many psukim that show that godliness, right? Everything that is related to Torah, to Hashem, to a mitzvah, to a ratzon of Hashem, it's all godliness. And I am a part of Hashem, and the Torah is a part of me, because us and the Torah and Hashem, it's one. So that is me. All the bad that I do is not who I am. Now, once I just make that switch in my brain and I realize that, what happens is all that strength my Yetzer Hara has been getting all this time from these mitzvahs, these little things that I do, he stops getting them. And that's what it means when Esav tells Yitzchak, give me a bracha, and Yitzchak's like, I'm sorry, there's no more shefa, like I can't. So then he says, what, there's nothing? And he says, he screams and he starts crying, and then he cries, and then after he cries, so Yitzchak's like, okay, so he gives him mayim achronim. So that's the whole secret, by the way, in Kabbalah, of the waters, the mayim achronim, giving that little bit of water at the end. It's a sod where you need to give them a little bit of yanika, otherwise they won't exist, and there won't be freedom of choice in the world. There has to be bad in the world, otherwise there won't be a world. So you need to give them a little bit, but not too much. So this, Rav Nachman is teaching in this Torah of how to give them that little bit, but not to give them the whole thing. So their little bit they'll get, because the one time I'll do a mitzvah and I'll forget to have that kavanah and think in that kind of way. But this is a way that if we can start slowly just training ourselves, and it's such an easy thing to do. Nobody's saying to go fast and do all kinds of things, and you have to stay up and learn, or you have to do this, you have to do that. There's so many people talking about so much stuff that are hard to do. And B'ezrat Hashem, step at a time, we'll climb, we'll get to an hour of Yidbodedut and 10 hours of Yidbodedut and learning Torah and everything. Why not? But how do I start working Hashem now? I'm a baby, right? I need something to move forward. So that's what it is. I am right now remembering all my nikudot avot. That is who I am. That is my essence. That is not going to the other side. And the way to do it is by judging myself favorably. To find and truly judge yourself favorably. Focus on the nikudot avot. Find those little nikudot avot that you have. Everyone has some. If you look, you'll find. Even people that are very, very, very far and feel like they haven't served Hashem in years, haven't done anything, then gone Yom Kippur to shul, nothing. Even they could find Nekudot Tavot, because again, the 613 mitzvahs have lots of branches, and those branches each are anything that is a ratzon of Hashem, a desire that Hashem makes Hashem happy, something that has a good deed from within it. If a Yid does, even Chesed, helps somebody across the street, it's considered a mitzvah. The other side gets strength from that. So you find those things, and you melamed zchut on yourself. You judge yourself favorably by saying that is not who I am. And you show Hashem why. You tell Hashem why. It's not me because of this and that. It's not me because, whatever the circumstances that I was in growing up, or how many years that I've been through going through this, or everybody has so many reasons. Like the Yetzer Hara is so strong. He's so strong in the power of Yetzer Hara in this generation. Like, just this generation is enough of an excuse that a person could get himself out of the deen. Say, Hashem, look where you sent me, into this physical body, onto earth. You sent me down over here in a physical world, in this Ikvita de Mashiach, the end of generation. There's so much physicality. How am I supposed to overcome all this? How am I supposed to, guard my eyes and keep mitzvahs and do things the right way when it's impossible? How am I supposed to do it? That's called, you judge yourself favorably. And because of that, because it's not my fault, then I'm not the one who did all of that. That is not me. That is my Yetzer Hara. And he'll get his punishment at the end of days. He'll get wiped out. But this is the way we wipe him out. The Yetzer Hara of the whole world will get wiped out when Mashiach comes. But my Yetzer Hara, my redemption, my inner redemption will come when I start doing this process. And Yaakov Mamish subdues him. And what happens when Yaakov's fighting the angel of Esav? Right? The angel comes and says, what's your name? He says, Yaakov. He says, Lo Yaakov Ya'amer Shemecha, ki im Yisrael, ki sarita im anashim, ve'im Elokim v'tuchal. So he says, so again, back to what I said before, Yaakov, Esav represents the Yetzer Hara in me. And Yaakov corresponds to Yitzchak corresponds to that sphere of Elokim, the godliness that's from within every single thing on earth, right? That's hiding, so it has like a garment. That's why Yitzchak had Yaakov and Esav, because Yitzchak corresponds to that Elokim, meaning that godliness that comes down into the Olamot, but it comes with a physical garment, right? It has that physical garment. So that's the bechina of Yaakov having Yitzchak having these two sons. That's because Yitzchak corresponds to that sphere of that Shem of Elokim, which is the godliness in the Olamot, in all the worlds. Yaakov has two names. Why? Because Yisrael is the general name, right? So the angel comes and says, you're not going to be called Yaakov anymore. Now your name is going to be Israel. Why Israel? Ki sarita im anashim ve'im Elokim vatuchal. Because you came and you fought against, you subdued, you overcame people, anashim, and Elokim, which means the angel, the source. He subdued the source of Esav's, where Esav gets his power from. Vatuchal, and you won. So that's why he changes his name from Yaakov to Israel. So Yaakov is each one of us on a personal level. When I'm still going through that, using those little swords that we spoke about to slowly weaken my Esav from within me by just not giving him any attention. He does not exist. That is not me. And find reasons why you're not that person. Find it, melamed zchut on yourself. And in this generation, it's the easiest thing to do, to melamed zchut on yourself. Right? And through that, you stop giving him his koyach, and all the little mitzvahs that you're anyhow doing start turning into mitzvahs. And they start... The Torah is mamish. Rav Nachman says in Torah Aleph that the Torah it's like a sword. It's the alvita. Torah is like a stick that has holy names on it, that you use it in order to beat and subdue the Yetzer Hara. And he says that's what it means. That when these words of Torah, when these little mitzvahs that a person does, when they don't go and give strength to the other side, that's when they start stabbing him and weakening him and wiping him out slowly. And especially the most important thing is to take those words of Torah, those little mitzvahs, anything that you're doing a little bit, but you should be doing better, or you're not doing it all, and you want to start doing, to just talk about them. Bring that Torah, the words of that Torah, into prayer. Because that is the most powerful way to subdue the other side from within you. Anyhow, so I didn't go into the things there, and it took much longer than I thought. But Bezrat Hashem, we could use that and take it with us. And it's a little eitzah, but it's a deep one. It's very, very deep eitzah, and it's important to just start using it. Start using it, and not enough. It's enough. Esav's got a lot, and you look around you when you walk around the city here, right? I think it's time for us on a personal level to start bringing, God willing, that personal redemption, that we deserve. We've been in exile for too long. Anyhow, love you guys. Hope it wasn't too long.